Let us enter into the spirit of worship with our prelude.
Sit here now until we finish the chants and then go to the
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock, dedicated to love, peace, service, and light. Today we come together to celebrate our community and all the goodness that surrounds us. In this season, as the earth tilts away from the sun, our days are becoming shorter, colder, and darker. It is in this season that we celebrate festivals of light in order to light up the world and attenuate the darkness and the cold. In the last month, more than 1 billion people have celebrated Diwali, the festival of lights celebrated by Hindu, Sikh, and other religious groups. This holiday celebrates light over dark, knowledge over ignorance, love over hate, and we pause today to honor the meaning of this holiday in our lives. I am joined in the audience by my husband, Dr. J. Mehta, who will speak to us a little later about Diwali. And I am also joined by my sister-in-law, Didi, and her son, Kuku, who have come from India just 1 week ago, in part to help us celebrate today. Also, Dr. Budi Raja is joining us, also from India, to join us. And I am at the altar with my colleague at UAMS and friend, dear friend from India, Dr. Shweta Mathur. We will start the service with 2 quotes, and I will do the first, and Dr. Mathur will do the second. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King.
All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light from a single candle. These beautiful words were said by Saint Francis of Assisi.
Okay. And now we will light the chalice. Please stand for the lighting of the chalice. May the festival of light of Diwali Remind us of the victory of good over evil,
light over dark,
knowledge over ignorance,
and hope over despair.
Please join us in saying our affirmation of covenant, which is printed in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. And service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom,
to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Please be seated. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock, where love is our teaching and service is our prayer. I am Paulette Mehta. I am a friend of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock since 2000, along with my husband. I am professor of medicine and pediatrics at the university and staff cancer doctor at the VA hospital, and I lead the women's writing group here at UUCLR. If you are a newcomer, we're glad that you're here. While you're here, we hope that you'll stop by our guest table to sign a guest card and to pick up some information about our congregation. We invite you to take a look at your order of service and the bulletin boards, where you will find announcements about events that are ongoing in our community. I have several announcements that I want to bring to your attention. One is that there is a bake sale across the hall after the service, and the youth group is organizing the bake sale to support their activities. So let's support them in supporting their activities. Also, we have bought some Indian sweets, a symbol of the holiday of Diwali, which we offer to you to share after the service, also across the hall. And then finally, one more announcement by Jan Bowen. Jan, would you let us know what your announcement is? Okay. We await eagerly.
Thanks a lot. A couple of Sundays ago, Bobby Roberts spoke at Forum, and he neglectfully left a book that he would like back if anybody finds it. The title of the book is Burden of Southern History. The author is C. Van Woodward. So if you come across that book, let me know, and I'll be sure to get it back to Bobby.
Okay, thank you, Jan, and thank you all for your attention. It's children's time now, so we need all the children together, and we're going to talk about Diwali, and I have a special movie that I'm going to show them in a moment. But first, children, let's stand together, and also all of you in the audience, your child within may enjoy this story to come. Now, do you want to... I think this is... Okay, nice to see all of you. Thank you all for coming. Do you know this? Oh, I can't sit on the floor anymore. I used to do this, but I can do it. I may not be able to get up, but I can get down. Do any of you know the story of Diwali? No? Well, Diwali is a festival of lights that people from around the world celebrate. It's a little bit like Christmas. It's a little bit like Hanukkah, but it's celebrated mostly in India and countries in the East. Do you all know where India is? Have any of you been to India? No. Okay. This little boy has been to India. It's very far away. And there they celebrate light and candles, and they have a story that they tell always, And it's a story about a prince whose name is Rama, and somebody kidnaps his wife. And that's evil. But he's going to make it right. Goodness is going to preside over evil. So the evil king has stolen his wife. Now we're going to hear the whole story. We have a movie that we're going to watch. Do you like movies? Okay, then let's watch the movie. And let's let the adults also watch the movie, because it's going to tell us the story of Diwali. Okay, Jerry's going to project it, so pay attention, because I have questions I'm going to ask you when it's over.
Thousands of years ago, in the city of Ayodhya, there lived a wise and good king named Dashrath, who lived along with his 3 queens and 4 princes. The eldest, Ram, and his beautiful wife Sita lived happily along with other princes and their wives. But one of the king's, Dashrath's wife, was jealous of Ram and demanded he will be exiled to the forest for 14 years, so that her son Bharat remained king. Having once promised his wife to fulfill any wish of hers, the helpless king exiled Ram to the forest, and so Ram set on foot, accompanied by his loving wife Sita and loyal younger brother Lakshman. A few years into their exile, a divinist named Surnaka saw Ram and fed for his looks. She asked Ram to marry her. Ram refused, asked her to go to Lakshman. But Lakshman also refused. Surnaka showed her true colors, and Lakshman cut off her nose and ears. The divinist went right to her brother, which was none other than Ravan, the demon king of Lanka. Ravan was furious and swore revenge. With the help of another demon, he took the form of a golden deer. He distracted Ram and Lakshman and kidnapped Sita from her house. When Ram and Lakshman returned, Sita was missing. They realized that something bad had happened when they had gone and immediately rushed to find Sita. And then, with the help of a monkey named Hanuman, who had got to be at Ram's service, it was Hanuman who finally found Sita, imprisoned in one of the beautiful gardens of Ravan. Hanuman reassured Sita that Ram would be here soon to rescue her. He came back to Ram with Sita's whereabouts, and then an army of men and monkeys marched through Lanka. Soon, a great battle started between the two mighty armies, and Ram's soldiers managed to kill all the demons except Ravan. The battle was now between Ram and Ravan. He gave Ravan one last chance to apologize and return Sita. Ravan instead rained down weapons on him. Ram too fought back relentlessly, but despite of all his efforts, nothing served to kill Ravan. Finally, using an arrow given to him by the gods, Ram shot Ravan in the navel, which killed him instantly. And so Ram and his loving wife Sita were finally reunited. Soon after the completion of their 14 years of exile, Ram, Sita and Lakshman returned home and found the entire city waiting for them. The streets were decorated with flowers and lamps, and there was happiness everywhere. Jai Shri Ram and Happy Diwali.
Okay, did you like that story? Yes. So somebody kidnapped his wife, but he got his wife back. And he overcame all the evil in his life. And we can do that too. We can overcome the evil in our lives when we see it. Now, people celebrate it with lights. They put candles all over the streets and in their houses, and they have firecrackers, and they celebrate it all over the world. So would you like to see another movie about how they celebrate it all over the world? Okay, let's do that. Jerry, the children want to see another movie about how they celebrate it. Can you help us? Yeah, Jerry said yes, he's going to help us.
Brighten your home with rose of light. Watch the fireworks zoom and fly. Then burst and color the night sky. Sweet accolades of all kinds. Smoking lyrics all combined. There's lots so much and lots to eat. It's the day of special treats. It's Diwali, it's time to be happy. It's Diwali, it's as bright as can be. It's Diwali, it's time to be happy. It's such a beautiful sight to see. It falls in the month of October or the month of November. It's a day to remember, 'cause the good knocks evil over. There's something we just need to know, 'cause healers believe it's true. So, as far as a legend goes, Rama's return is what it follows. It's Diwali, it's time to be happy. It's Diwali, it's as bright as can be. It's Diwali, it's time to be happy. It's such a beautiful sight to see.
Okay, that's the story of Diwali, and that's how they celebrate it, with lights and special treats. And we brought you some special treats that we're going to have after the service is over. Do you want to taste some of the sweets from India? Okay, we're going to do that, but we have to wait until the service is over. Okay? But I'll see you after you finish your activities. I'll see you in the other room across the hall, and we'll eat together, okay? Happy Diwali to all of you. Okay.
Thank you, Paulette. And thank you, Jerry, for the movies and for the music. If you'll notice on your orders of service, we have these photos of what is actually sidewalk chalk. The story behind these photos is that I came here one Monday morning and I was surprised to look outside our front door and see these beautiful sidewalk drawings. And of course, they were made by the Hindu group that meets here on Sunday afternoons. But they were so special to me, I just snapped a little picture with my phone, and then Karen was able to put them on our orders of service. And thank you again, Paulette. And Jay, we're looking forward to hearing you as well. This is our time for meditation and milestones. It's a time when we remember milestones in our lives, and you might feel moved to come forward and light a candle to mark a joy in your life, to mark a celebration, or perhaps to mark a sorrow in your life. We'll light our candles in silence as the music plays, and then Carrie Carlock is going to lead us in a time of meditation, after which we will sing Spirit of Life.
I invite you now to take this time to let your eyes close. Let your body relax. Allow yourself to just sink into your chair, allowing your shoulders to fall, allowing your breathing to slow down, allowing it to find its natural frequency. You don't have to give it any effort. Your breath will just do so if you can allow it to regulate. Feeling how your chest rises and falls with each breath. And as thoughts come into your mind, just notice them and allow them to pass you by, returning your focus back to the rise and the fall of your breath. And I invite you to conjure in your mind a symbol of light. It might be the symbol of the chalice that we've just lit this morning. It might be the candles that burn brightly before us. It might be the light of the moon or the light of a star, the light of the sun. It doesn't matter. I just invite you to imagine a light and focus your attention on that light. And as this light begins to transcend your consciousness, allow yourself to bring that light into your heart. May this light be a symbol of love for you, of devotion for you. May it burn brightly in your heart. May this light bring understanding to your heart. May this light shine brightly in your heart, filling you with harmony and with peace and with goodness. May it be a bright light that shines outward from you as a symbol of service to others around you, emanating goodness from you as a gift to all those around you. May it light your smile. May it light your words. May it light your actions and your intentions. May this light emanate all throughout you as bright health and as bright prosperity, as bright happiness and bright love. So that it is the luminous part of you and of your soul. And as a symbol of the goodness within you, triumphing over other things in your heart. And you can allow that light to fade in your mind's eye, but you can carry it with you as you go forward this week, illuminating yourself to shine for those around you. May it be so. And whenever you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and come back into this place.
With our lights shining bright, I invite us to join together in singing Spirit of Life. One of the ways we let our lights shine is by giving to others and giving to something larger than ourselves. The offering for the work of this church will now be given and gratefully received.
Oh, such a beautiful meditation and such beautiful singing. It's a pleasure to be here. As we celebrate Diwali today, I'm reminded of my first Diwali when I came to India for the first time 40 years ago, almost to the day, when I married my husband from India and essentially married India. So I put together my poems in a book called Marrying India, and it's my reflections on coming to India and learning Indian culture and Indian holidays and Indian spirituality for the first time 40 years ago. I wanted to share two of these poems with you. The first one is my impressions upon coming to India as a young American bride. And secondly is a poem that I wrote which is about our theology, mine and Jay's, and how we melded our theology together, and therefore why we worship here, of all places. I think you'll understand it. So the first one is called Marrying India. These are first impressions as a young woman coming to India for the first time. Arriving in India for the first time, a just married American bride stepping off the plane in dusty Delhi, in the middle of Diwali, taking train and then a rickshaw to his family home, arriving at 2 a.m., everyone awakening, serving breakfast, making bed, welcoming us together, meeting Babaji, elder grandfather, on whose approval all must rest. Then my newfound family, Didi, Cuckoo, Mommy G, and all the rest, all with titles, none with names. Whirls of color swooshing round, women whirling, swirling reds and yellow, blue and green, and so much gold, like living, walking banks. Diwali lights light up the village, air perfumed with coriander, cardamom, and more. Neighbors sharing rasmalai, rasgulla, and many other milky treats. Chai so warm and smooth, stopping time and space and place, letting in the light. Servants whirling round me, sweeping up my mess, tidying my space, cooking, cleaning, serving me. Little children in the street calling out to me, "Hello, Auntie, play with me." Hordes of people wait outside to see my clothes, my hair, my nails, asking for my autograph, begging for my photo, playing Scrabble till late at night, little Anju losing games but crying in delight. I love to play. I love to lose. Let's play again tonight. Feeling, seeing, smelling, sights and sounds and scents it seems I never knew before. Seeing wealth abound in people's love and light, realizing that people round the world are more alike than different. First impressions. And the second poem is shorter, and it's our theology and how we put it together. This is meeting him and getting to know each other. I tell him there is one God in the universe, and this God is a jealous God who allows no other in his place. He tells me there is God in each of us, 150 million, he says, or at least that's what it was when he was growing up. And for every god, there is a goddess too, he says, which makes 300 million altogether. But with population growth and immigration, the numbers now are higher. Gods and goddesses now number in the billions. Each of us, he says, has specks and sparks of God within and light within our hearts. And animals, too, share in the reserve. And even so do bugs. There is but one God, I answer him, a Jewish Unitarian belief. He says, no, there's God within us all, a Hindu Universalist belief. And now I'm going to give the stage to him, Dr. J. Mehta. He's going to speak to us about Diwali, what it means to him, what it means to the people in his life, how it's celebrated, and more. So, Jay, it's your turn.
Thank you. What a beautiful, cool, crisp morning. I wish it was like this all year round. Okay, and lights and chalices all around us. And you saw from the movies the essence of Diwali and Hinduism is light. And last week we were talking with Reverend Jan. It is possible that this chalice, concept of chalice, may have, at least in part, an origin in Diwali. Okay, well, what is Diwali, or another name is Deepavali? You probably got this thing. I'm just going to read that. It has been celebrated since ancient times in India. It is the major festival of lights, celebrated by Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, and Jains, 4 major religions in the world, every year around October or November. It is an official holiday in Fiji, Guyana, India, Malaysia, Mauritius, Myanmar, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. Most of these countries have large population of Indians who were taken there by the British. In contemporary Pakistan, Diwali is observed across religious lines, including the Muslims. Not all of them, though. Its celebration includes millions of lights shining on housetops, outside doors, and windows, around temples and other buildings in the community. The festival preparations and rituals typically extend over a 5-day period, but the main festival, night of Diwali, coincides with the darkest night of the Hindu lunisolar month. The rituals in different religions and regions are quite different. Hindus celebrate the homecoming of Lord Rama after victory over the evil king Ravana, as you saw in the movie, who had kidnapped his wife Sita towards the end of a 14-year exile from his kingdom. When Rama, along with Sita and his brother Lakshman, returned to Ayodhya, which was the capital city at that time, everyone lit up their homes with chalices. Jains celebrate to mark the attainment of moksha by their religious guru, Mahavira. Sikhs celebrate to mark the release of Guru Hargobind from a Muslim prison. And Buddhists and Hindus celebrate Diwali by worshipping Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. Others celebrate by worshipping Saraswati, which is the goddess of knowledge. Still others dedicate Diwali to Ganesha, You have symbols of Ganesha, I saw in the back, who symbolizes ethical beginnings and fearless removal of obstacles. Businessmen start their financial year on Diwali. It is a celebratory holiday. Generally, children and young adults go to their parents' and grandparents' home for the big celebration. People clean their homes and decorate them for the festivities. People buy new clothes for themselves and their families. They buy gifts, appliances, kitchen utensils, even cars and gold jewelry. On Diwali night, fireworks light up the neighborhood skies. Later, family members and invited friends celebrate the night over food and sweets. On this occasion, Hindus, Jains, and Sikh communities also mark charitable causes, kindness, and peace. Diwali has been celebrated regularly in the White House, if you may have seen it on news media. It was first celebrated by President Bush, then Obama, and even President Trump. In the UK, it was celebrated by Prince Charles and the Prime Ministers, and in Canada by Prime Minister Trudeau as a tribute to their Indian community. So what's the meaning of Diwali? It's a celebration with lights, with chalices, as a reminder of the importance of knowledge, self-inquiry, self-improvement, knowing and seeking the good and the right path. It is a metaphor for resisting evil, for dispelling darkness, and for compassion to others. Diwali is the celebration of the inner light over spiritual darkness, of knowledge over ignorance, and right over wrong. It is a festive restatement of the Hindu belief that good ultimately triumphs over evil. And at the bottom of this page, there are different symbols of Diwali, and most of them are chalices and the symbol Om, which stands for one God. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jay, and also Paulette. I think this would be a good time for us to sing. We have a Hindu hymn. It's 184 in your gray hymnals, Be Ye Lamps Unto Yourselves. So let's stand, either in body or in spirit, and join in singing.
This is a tune you're probably not familiar with, many of us. So we as a choir are going to sing through once, and then we'll sing it together twice with you all.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Well, thank you again, Jay, for your words, and thanks to you and to Paulette for bringing us the story of Diwali, and also for leading us to learn more about the Hindu tradition. Today, I offer a few words about the connection between Hinduism and what we know as contemporary Unitarian Universalism. First, though, it's important to keep in mind how our tradition evolved into contemporary Unitarian Universalism. While we can trace our historical and our theological roots back a couple of thousand years, what we know as Unitarian Universalism emerged only about 55 years ago in 1961 with the joining of two separate religious traditions, Unitarianism and Universalism. Both Unitarianism and Universalism have Jewish and Christian roots, and both emerged as established religious traditions out of the liberal Christian tradition in America, Universalism in the late 1700s and Unitarianism in the early 1800s. Each tradition would evolve and broaden to include not just Jewish and Christian ideas, but to include as well teachings from the world's religions, including Hinduism. Our Unitarian Universalist connection with the Hindu tradition runs deep. We can look to our own history to see how Hindu ideas became an integral part of our faith tradition. In the early to mid-1800s, Unitarians were just beginning to organize as an official religious movement. The name Unitarian then had been in use only a few decades. The early Unitarians championed the rational interpretation of biblical texts. Already, though, there was dissent within the ranks. That shouldn't surprise us, should it? Ralph Waldo Emerson, himself a Unitarian minister, protested what he called a corpse-cold Unitarianism that relied on the rational to the exclusion of the intuitive. Emerson left the Unitarian ministry in 1832, but continued to try to reform Unitarianism as a critic, a vocal critic from outside the tradition. Unitarianism would die, he said in his famous address in 1838 at Harvard Divinity School. Unitarianism would die unless it broadened beyond a focus on the strictly rational to make room for the deeply intuitive. A religion that spoke only to the head, Emerson argued, would die unless it spoke also to the heart. Emerson's criticisms of Unitarian thought drew intense fire, but he, over time, would help to reform the faith. Emerson and his young friend, Henry David Thoreau, were part of the Transcendentalist movement, a group of thinkers whose ideas would forever change the direction of Unitarian thought. Listen to their ideas, just a few of them, which were radical for the time and in some quarters still are radical. God lives in nature, and nature itself is the miracle. The sun rises, the sun sets, the autumn leaves, the crisp, cool autumn days. All of that is the miracle. Every person can have a direct experience of the divine, and one can know the divine through the power of intuitive knowledge. The religious experience, they argued, is universal and not the exclusive province of Christians or any other group. These thinkers began to look beyond the Christian tradition for spiritual understanding. Other religious groups of the time had viewed Hindus not as followers of a world religion, even though it is one of the oldest religions in the world. But thinkers and followers of other religious groups had instead viewed Hindus as pagans who needed to be converted to Christianity. Emerson and Thoreau, however, turned to the scriptures of the world, including Hindu sacred texts, especially the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. They carried on a dialogue with Hindu ideas, and this conversation became rich and deep and would change both their own religious understandings and also shape the tradition that became contemporary Unitarian Universalism. Unitarian Universalism, you've all heard me say before, is not a creedal faith. We have no one creed, no one set of beliefs to which we ask all of our members to ascribe. Yet, there are some basic values, some basic beliefs that are common to our faith tradition, and these are rooted in the Hindu influence on 19th century Unitarianism. First, we believe there are many paths to spiritual understanding. Some of us would say that while there are many paths to the divine, God is one. To the Western eye, Hinduism might be perceived as polytheism, the belief in many gods, with its 300 million or 330 million or billions and billions of gods and goddesses. I once visited a Hindu temple in the Boston area with a group of students from the Divinity School. We were greeted with kind hospitality by hosts who showed us all around the temple, pointing out the gods and the goddesses and the offerings, and they reminded us again and again, many paths, but one God. They kept saying it over and over, many paths, but one God. This idea captured the religious imaginations of the 19th century transcendentalists and became a part of their legacy to us. Unitarian Universalism will become a faith tradition informed by wisdom from the world's religious traditions. Second, we believe that all creation is both interrelated and sacred. Honor all beings, we say, not honor all people or honor all animals. Honor all beings, even the bugs that might bite us. It's all sacred. We find inspiration in nature, and like Emerson and Thoreau, we recognize that life itself is a miracle. This respect and love for nature is also an integral part of the Hindu way. To the Hindu, the landscape is holy, the very body of God. The entire landscape is seen as a living being. Hindu pilgrims travel to places where the human soul can cross over from this world to the farther shore of the transcendent realm. One of these crossing over places is the Ganges River, whose waters are believed to bring salvation. Thoreau, in Massachusetts, made his daily pilgrimage to the waters of